The market is displaying strong upward momentum, characterized by a steady push toward the session highs with clearly defined structural support trailing behind the price action. Sentiment, bullish pressure. Confidence, 7 out of 10. Reason, price has cleanly broken and held above the 1-minute Lisma at 29,391.50, and the consistent green Heikin Ashi candles reflect strong buyer intent. The slope of the 1-minute Lisma is accelerating, confirming that the current move is driven by genuine strength rather than simple range oscillation. Concerns, while the trend is bullish, the price is nearing the prior session high at 29,433.25, which may act as a magnet for profit taking and introduce intraday volatility. Long entry option. A long entry is valid on a pullback and bounce at the 1-minute Lisma at 29,391.50, targeting 29,433.25. Invalidation is a confirmed break and hold below 29,380.0, short entry option. None. Summary. The bullish trend is currently in a high conviction state. Traders should prioritize long entries on pullbacks to structural support levels while maintaining discipline near the previous session highs to avoid being caught in a potential reversal or liquidity sweep.
Yeah. It's funny how, I always tell you guys a lot of the programming he has, right, is a lot of the way that I think with things too. And when he keeps saying, if you want to prioritize longs, you got to wait for a pullback, right, instead of a continuation push, because otherwise you get caught in a sweep, which is literally what I was saying in the beginning, right? And so this is a tough one again, man, because everything in here is showing some pretty solid strength. Our ORB is so wide, guys. We're at 437 all the way down to, and the ORB is pretty much the all-time high. And so, but we're showing some strength, right? But I want to see this. See how we have the breach wicks? A close below there should sweep that pretty hard. So it's tricky because the sellers are not gone. I mean, you guys, I know you see those DOM drops. They're definitely not gone. So if you're looking long, definitely wait for those pullbacks because the sellers are not gone, guys. Not at all. So let's see if we get the close below, or do we bounce again? Because this is a very important level here, because you got the 1 minute, the 1 hour, and the 15-minute Lisma all just right there. And that's Asia high. So structure-wise, with that sweep up, right, if we close below there, that should sweep pretty hard. But we're getting a little bit of a trend now on the 15-second we can kind of look for. Any kind of breach there, close below, is going to jump. Right now we're just indecision here. How's everybody doing? If you guys want to type in the chat or just throw a thumbs up. So far, so
Low,
good.
slow, and steady.
Good deal. Yeah, it's I've just been doing a lot of different scalps, mostly short. But it's tough right now because we're getting a lot of bullish pressure where it probably shouldn't be. But then we're also getting a lot of bearish DOM drops, right? But these prior highs right here are going to be critical to me because as we come up into there, right, if we can't break these prior highs from this high, it's going to sweep back down, which I'm hoping it does, right? Because I want it to, I want, give me a day of just oscillation, right? These forever 300-point climbs are definitely exhausting with it. So I want to just see some range. Give me some range. So we're stuck between here, that high, as well as the support of that. We're trying to see which one's going to win there. See those DOM drops still? Where it is in support, like those drops just shouldn't happen, man, unless they're gonna absorb, but they just shouldn't happen. If we were gonna keep jumping. See how violent that goes once it drops? I love watching the DOM, guys, the order flow. Love it.
The MNQ is experiencing a short-term pullback as it struggles to maintain the momentum required to clear the recent highs, testing the 1-minute Lisma from above. Sentiment. Bullish pressure. Confidence. 4 out of 10. Reason. Price has retraced slightly below the 1-minute Lisma at 29,399.75, which now acts as immediate overhead resistance. Despite this, the market remains well supported by the 1-minute EMA 200 at 29,338.0 and the 5 minutes Lisma at 29,337.25, suggesting that the broader bullish structural integrity is still intact. Concerns. The red high Kinashi candle and the failure to sustain the breakout above 29,410.0 introduce the risk of a deeper mean reversion toward the support cluster near the 1-minute EMA 200. Long entry option. A long entry is valid on a confirmed breakout and hold above 29400.0, targeting 29433.0. Invalidation is a confirmed break and hold below 29,380.0, short entry option. None. Summary. The market is undergoing a brief corrective phase after the recent impulsive move. While the short-term trend is pressured, the overall structure remains bullish. Look for the price to stabilize and reclaim the 1-minute Lisma to confirm that buyers are stepping back in for a push toward the session highs.
Yeah, and keep in mind, guys, with Neo, he's always going to be very watching the range, right? And so notice he was saying his concerns is that up here we can pull back all the way here, but he's still going to identify this as bullish as long as we stay above the 1-minute 200 EMA or that 5-minute Lisma, I think is what he said, right? And so this is where I was talking about if you wanted to take your longs, you got to wait for you get those pullbacks, and then you got to wait for the reclaim of those lows, right? But for me, like I was telling you guys, you know, when you get those inverted hammers, the indecision that close below is what creates that pull. Again, we could just continue to range here, but typically when these structures happen, man, they end up creating lower lows. So just be really careful on your longs, trying to catch too many bounces. Because if we continue to fail to hold that 400 range, that sweep's going to be deep, guys. And we're already kind of seeing that play out. Hold on, I gotta adjust something. Yeah, see this pull? Anybody riding this short? I know most of you said TPs.
Hit my TP.
Hit the TP? Yeah, it got my TP as well. I hate that too because it's all setting up to where it looks good for a possible re-entry, but again, if we end up a range day, you know, the re-entries could be tricky. I'll tell you, for some of you in my class, you know, we've been playing with that kind of, you know, 26 to 30 tick TP, and man, it's actually been pretty cool. So I've been testing a theory today. I've just been doing one MNQ only, and allows me to be a little more aggressive, and it's pretty wild, man, how much you can make. I have one, I'm up like almost 800, 759. It just closed my last one. The other one's up 700. This one's up 750. This one's up 1,500, and I'm only doing one MNQs. I'm just being fairly aggressive, right? Because it's one MNQ. But it's crazy because you only make like 12, I think 15 bucks or something like that per rung. But it allows you to just, man, you got so much room to play without just getting wrecked, right? So let's see if we create the lower low like I've been calling, right? Because that's what it should do. If it does end up pumping up here, guys, then we're just going to continue to range, which I'm cool with, right? That's what we wanted. So, very nice. Anybody stuck in a long? Hopefully not. Just throw a thumbs up if you are. I can kind of help you. But hopefully not. For a long, I wouldn't even entertain a long unless we bounce clearly off here and reclaimed all that, right? Because again, this structure creates a lower low almost every time. So, or at least a top of this low.
The market has experienced an aggressive breakdown, erasing the recent bullish gains and forcing a test of the macro structural support at the 5-minute EMA 200. Sentiment. Bearish pressure. Confidence. 6 out of 10. Reason. Price has decisively broken below the 1-minute EMA 200 at 29,338.75 and the 1-minute anchored VWAP at 29,332.75. The rapid descent and the shift to a red high Kinashi candle reflect a total loss of buyer control, with the 1-minute Lisma now acting as steep overhead resistance. Concerns. The price is currently interacting with the 5-minute EMA 200 at 29,290.50, which is the final major macro defense before a potential acceleration to the downside. Entering short here carries the risk of a sharp bounce from this critical level. Long entry option. None. Short entry option. A short entry is valid on a confirmed breakout and hold below 29,290.0, targeting 29250.0. Invalidation is a reclaim of 29,315.0. Summary. The bullish structure has been invalidated by the sharp move lower, sellers are firmly in control, and the market is now testing its